Hello, dear friends. What a blessing to be with you today. Here we are together for another program of the Spiritist magazine. We broadcast to you on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. However, you can always find us on the YouTube, Facebook channels of both Kardec Radio and the Spirit Society of Richmond, where we post these playlists. Whenever you feel like having an inspiration, reading something uplifting, reading and gaining more knowledge about the Spiritist doctrine, you can access the playlists at your own convenience, at your own time. The goal of spreading Spiritism, the good news of the Christ, is that so you and I can have it on our own homes, the tip of our fingers, on our apps, on our cell phones, on our tablets. Make it super easy, free of charge. Nowhere else in the world you can see such a dedicated team of workers working with the Christ, for the Christ, and his superior spirits in order to bring to you this consoling message. So we encourage you to visit spiritistmagazine.org. And when you go visit the website, you can download the PDF version of the magazine. That's what you're going to see when I discuss today's article. You can also order the physical copy of the Spiritist magazine, a beautiful work of art where you have high quality articles, top notch graphic design, many people behind the scenes working to bring this program, not on this program because I didn't make the camera, the internet, or the computer, but many different collaborators bringing in the teachings of the Spiritist magazine who are going to be priceless in this planet of trials and expiations in transition to a planet of regeneration. So make use of all the resources at hand. And today we're going to talk about issue 54, which is the current issue of the magazine, as you can see here. And this is the new one. And as we talk about the issue 54, we selected for our discussion an article from the Spiritist magazine. Is the first one you're going to see. And this is a first time in English translation from the book Spiritist Conduct by the Spirit André Luiz through the mediumship of Waldo Vieira. This book has been translated but yet to be published in English. And meanwhile, you can go to the Spiritist magazine and find these articles. In every issue pretty much has one. And here is the Spiritist magazine PDF format. So if you were download it free of charge to your computer, you can read it as much as I'm going to read with us tonight. The first article of the magazine is this one: Spiritist Conduct regarding our spirit mentors. Excuse me. Remember, the goal of our studies is to bring awareness about these resources. Therefore, not always we have time to go through each and every line of the articles, but that's not the goal. The goal is for you to pick your interests, for you to know the Spiritist magazine is there, and to pick your interests so that you would go there and study and read it for your own knowledge. It's great when we can learn and listen to the playlist and listen to the hosts and the explanations. However, excuse me, it's much more important that you and I go to the source and study and see how does that teaching apply to my life today. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. Spiritist conduct regarding spirit mentors. Question number 1. Did you know you have a spirit mentor? He or she is with you. We know spirits don't have gender and sex as we have on the earth. Your spirit mentors are with you each and every day of your life. So I might be referring to them as he or she as we go interchangeably. The spirit mentors are there. They've been assigned to us, they have accepted the responsibility and, let's be frank, the challenge of guiding us through this lifetime. So now that you know there's a superior, higher order spirit with you in this lifetime, let's think one level deeper. And how is your connection with your superior spirit? Not always we're easy on them. We can be stubborn, we can remain in error, we have free will. And those superior spirits you can find also in part 2, chapter 9 of the Spirits book, that talks about protector spirits, guardian angels, spirit guides, spirit mentors, where the good spirits will remind us that they are there to support, to console us, and at the same time respecting that we are also spirits and evolution on the planet. And that's why it may take a special type of spirit to be a spirit guide. Just one second. It may be, you take a special type of spirit, right? It has to be a more elevated spirit than we are, because sometimes, how many times we see someone incurring error and we get so angry and frustrated, we want to change what they do. Our mentors are there inspiring us, more like a whispering voice. They can be there when we pray, when we ask for help, but they're not going to impose. They're not going to impose their will on us. They're going to understand that we are agents of our own destiny. We can choose to stay where we are and stagnant, or we can choose to progress. So in the Spirit's book, that part 2, which is, the influence of spirits in the corporeal world, there's a specific chapter about the spirit mentors and guides, guardian angels, and that kind of describes their responsibility towards us and gives us an idea what to do. This book is very specific. It's a spiritist conduct, or this conduct for the spirited worker regarding your mentors. So now we're going to see how we need to relate to them, some aspects, of course. All right. So here we have. Make it bigger for you. It says, ponder with special attention the transmitted communications which are said to be altered by a well-regarded individual, and only comply to the precepts which seem to fit the basic frame of the Spiritist doctrine. Light does not emphasize with the shadow. So our spirit mentors, if you are an extensive medium, even if you're not, they're constantly transmitting thoughts, inspirations, and guidance to us. And then when we hear that voice, when we have that intuition, if you're an extensive medium, you receive a written communication or oral communication, for psychographic psychophony. And Luiz is reminding us that we need to comply with that message only if that message and its teachings fit within the basic frame of the Spiritist doctrine. Because if a spirit presents to you an idea that is of very lower vibrations, to hurt someone, to do something that is not good for anybody, we have to stop and think, is this idea coming from my superior spirit? Would this idea, if I put it against the divine laws, would it hold? If not, we don't need to comply. Just because we hear a communication, we receive a message, or feel an inspiration, that doesn't mean you're going to run and do what the voices, what the inspiration tells you, or what the message tells you. We need to use reason, faith. We have to be sure to think for ourselves and say, well, a superior spirit would not tell me to go hurt that person. A superior spirit would not tell me to abandon this good works because X, Y, and Z. Therefore, I need to be humble and say, this is not coming from a well-regarded individual. It says here, abolish the practice of invoking These are the entity by name, which poses an unnecessary burden within the realms of our daily tasks. Seek to identify the spirit benefactors and friends whose goals exhibit the good that they spread. The fruit foretells information about the tree that produced it. So he's saying, don't keep invoking this or that entity. Oh, so and so come help me. Oh, so and so come help me. Because guess what? The spirits in the spiritual realm are not idle. They're not sitting on a cloud. The spiritual realm is not a cloud where we eat grapes and play harps, although harps and grapes might exist in the spiritual realm. The spiritual realm is bubbling of activity. If you go to all of the books of André Luiz, the 16 books of the series Life in the Spiritual Realm, we're going to learn that there are cities, there are activities, there are hospitals, schools, spiritual aid missions. The good spirits are always working. The workers are joining these missions to come help us during the night, during the day. Therefore, if we keep calling that same entity, we put an unnecessary burden on them. They may be busy. However, there will be spirit benefactors and friends whose goals exhibit the good. So you can pray. Let's say you're in the Spiritist meeting or at home. You say, oh, please, mentor, help me think about this in a different way. What should I do about this topic? How do I address this situation? And may the good spirits who guide our group, not specifically one of them, but all of them, because it's usually a collaborative effort, we can call on them to help us. It's not just obsessed with one of them, and now we're calling on them to be by our side 24/7, when sometimes it's up to you and I to make the decisions about certain things. He says here, expunge the concern with being in continuous interchange with the protecting spirits. Do not steal their time. Consulting with them about this small plight of life, including problems that we need to solve for ourselves. Time is precious to everyone. Again, it's very similar. Do we need to have 24/7 our spirit mentors with us? No, he's saying here, expunge that concern. They will be with us if we need, if we call on them. That's what the mission they accepted. However, they also have things to do that may not relate necessarily to us. Maybe they have more than one to guide. Time is precious. We know people that is like, oh, mentor, should I wear blue? Should I wear black? Should I wear this clothing? How do I say this? What color do I paint my wall? That's usually not something our spirit mentors are concerned about. Now, if we keep worried about being constant interchange with a spirit, guess what? A spirit will come and will help us with the little plights of life, but it may not be our mentors. It might be another frivolous spirits who like the things we like. And he says here, consulting them with these small plights of light, including problems that we need to solve for ourselves. Why? Because it's up to me to make the decisions that will help me in my evolutionary path. They can't solve some of the problems for us. They can guide us. They can help us rethink the way we're looking at things. At night, you can pray that you go talk to your spirit mentor during sleep time. And then they can guide you and counsel you, just like a good psychologist would guide you through the different options. We can ask that, but we can't ask them for every little thing. And we don't, especially if they're frivolous, like, are we going to get married? Are we going to win the lottery? How will color my house? So on and so forth. Next, he's going to say, be cautious with blindly following the exclusive will of this or that spirit, and do not become addicted to listening constantly to discarnates doing your daily tasks without considering the teachings of the doctrine, the Spiritist doctrine. Personal responsibility is a non-transferable inheritance. So what you and I have to do, it goes back to the other teachings. It's yours, your responsibility to do the good that you came here to do, to redress past mistakes that you committed in the past, to love and grow with the people you committed yourself to. So we can't be dependent upon just listening to the spirits. If we go back to the mediums book, which we should, solid foundational steps on how to practice and develop mediumship. There are many different types of spirits. That's question 100 of the Spirits book. There's also many different types of mediumship, many different types of communications. But Kardec will say there as well, analyze the language of the communication. The communication can be oral communications, written communications, inspiration, when we are open and attuned with a guardian angel so they can guide us. And don't just listen to a spirit that is imposing him or herself upon us and say, you can only listen to spirit so and so, spirit X, spirit Y, so on and so forth. We cannot blindly follow them. It says, be cautious with blindly following the exclusive will, because our mentors, again, are not going to force us to do anything. Our mentors are going to guide us and inspire us and allow you and I to make the decisions in our lives. Because remember the personal responsibility here. Go back to the beginning. Personal responsibility is a non-transfer inheritance. So let's think this through. If your mentor is quote unquote pushy and saying, do this, do this, do that, first of all, it may not be your mentor, it's most likely not. But if they did impose their will on us, what would be the merit of collecting the fruit of our sowing? If I just blindly listen to a spirit, would be the merit of positive or negative consequences of what I have to do? Now they're co-creating with us. Just the same way when we give unwarranted advice to others, we're co-creating on their choices. If you say, go move, go get this job, marry that person, if it doesn't work out, guess what? You're partially responsible. Yes, they chose, but you directed them to it. You can go back to the book Heaven and Hell. You have examples there of spirits that committed suicide, but other incarnate beings were co-responsible because they induced them to that state. So we have to be thinking about that. Honor the name and memory of the mentors that have been your companions or blood relatives on the earth, abstaining from directing at them unruly requests or uncalled for demands. Communion with the good spirit establishes in us the duty to imitate them. Our spirit mentors, the good spirits, are not unruly. They're very disciplined. They're very disciplined. They tell us, if you read the books, you see that they have time for things to happen, to start, to end. They have a route, they plan, they study. Unlike us, sometimes we don't even know what the purpose of what we're doing is. So we honor them by imitating them. They are organized, they're concise, they're precise. So when we interact with other people, we think about, am I emulating the qualities that I want to develop in myself to one day become a protector spirit of someone? So may we today, with this reminder of this beautiful article from issue 54 of the Spiritist magazine, Spiritist Conduct Regarding Spirit Mentors, remind us of the need for honoring the name and memory of the spirit mentors we've had, both in the spiritual realm and in the physical realm. Because we have mentors in the physical realm as well, folks who are reincarnating with us so we can all grow together. And we should not be directing at them unruly requests or uncalled for demands. And let's transport this into our daily lives. So when we go about our daily lives, we can be certain of developing those skills for immortality. Challenge for you is, what are the goals you have for your next 100 years? Where would you like to be when you discarnate. Because where you're going to be is where the things you're doing now. So if you were to discarnate tonight, God willing, you won't, because there's a lot for you to do in the earth that is good. Whatever your central desire is today, whatever your thoughts are, whatever your mental fixations are, that's where you're going to end up. So observe when you go to bed where you end up at night. What kind of experiences you go experience in the spiritual realm, because every day we go to the spiritual realm during sleep and dreams. So if today I am sowing the seeds that I reap when I discarnate and return to the spiritual realm, by the same token, today I sow the seeds of goodness that I want to experience in my next life, be it on the earth or on a different planet. Depending on our needs, we'll be back here if we're attuned to the goodness that is forthcoming, or we may be exiled somewhere else if need be. So what are the abilities you want to work on? We work, right, on our personal lives. What we want to do in a year. We have calendars. We plan vacations. We plan for our careers. We plan what we want to do. So let's think about in 5 years, what abilities, what spiritual gifts, abilities I want to have that I need to start developing now. Also, it can include the things you want to learn, the books you want to read, but also the intellectual abilities, um, the abilities of the spirit: kindness, love, compassion, empathy, helping others, serving, doing less things for myself, less selfishness, less pride. In 5 years, how I want to be. Hopefully, if you do the reverse and look back 5 years, you were much better today than you were then. And then 10 years, 100 years, 1,000 years. Because the scale of evolution is going to continue. The law is of progress. You're going to progress either by love or by pain. We are going to get to be a pure spirit. Do we want to do it faster or slower? Because we're going to get there. That's the destiny. So we can plan, we can think beyond the physical needs of this lifetime. The 80, 100 years, if you're lucky, the life expectancy is not that long on the planet, especially after the pandemic. So short of amount of time. So today you can start to think of yourself in a context of multiple lives, multiple reincarnations, many more, God willing, to come, so we can learn. Each and every lifetime can be an opportunity for us to plan for the future. So let's think about connecting with our good spirits and mentors today and always. As we go about our day, through prayer, meditation, mindfulness, when you stop what you're doing and you catch yourself doing something that you don't want to do, take a deep breath in and out and say, mentors, how can I say this in a better, kinder way to this person? Mentors, how can I be a vessel? Inspire me so I do the good. Inspire me so I can be patient. Help me with this problem. So I hope that you can strengthen this relationship that is very, very precious. The spirit mentors are there with you each and every day. Your life matters. What you're here to do matters. Trials and tribulations are passing, and we shall conquer it. We shall learn and grow together as this huge human family today and always. Dear friends, this is what we had for you today. The blessings of the Spiritist magazine, as you visit spiritistmagazine.org to take advantage of the app. The PDF is on my screen. The physical copy of the Spiritist magazine you can use as your gospel at home, as your study parts, study sessions at your center, so on and so forth. May you stay well, stay safe, stay inspired. God willing, I'll be back with you next week. But until then, I wish you many, many blessings. See you soon, friends.